Welcome to another Winners Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It is your Friday Football Live. Matt Fargo, Sean Higgs. Maybe we'll get a Marc sighting. You never know. He could be prepping. He's in Florida, but you never know. You know, he could be out taking the oranges off his trees, get ready for a frost or something to come in here with the crazy weather this weekend coming through the states. But me and Matt are here. We'll talk about we got two NFL games. Maybe we'll hit on some basketball tomorrow. We'll see where the show takes us. You're tuning on in. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, notification bell on. So you know each and every day we come at you with free pick videos. NBA, college hoops, and the lone NFL here. This is it. Yesterday we had some NBA. We split out 1-1. I got to throw Doug and Oxford under the bus because I was like, hey, let's take Philly here. Why are they a home dog? They need to win one at home. They got their guys back. You know, like Houston's I'll blame them for the loss. I told them I was going to throw them under the bus today if that game won because I like Philly there, but we're just joking along here. So be sure to check out the past videos. 2-1 in the NBA here on the YouTube channel. Again, we've just switched over to basketball, so the amount of games are a little less right now. College basketball, 14-8 plus 220. And going forward next week, that's what you're going to get. A lot of basketball. If you want our top plays or premium action, you want our winners for this weekend and the Super Bowl and all that other good stuff, head over to gamblersworld.net. Get on board. 30-day package, all sports included. 3-day package, 7-day, all sports included. Get the 30-day. We'll get you all the football, the remainder of football for the year. And your hockey, NBA, and college hoops. My college hoops yesterday, nice. We went 7-3 yesterday. College basketball. All dogs. I got a couple never in doubters. Somehow I got I think Sacramento State. I was getting 10.5, and I think they hit a layup or a three with like 4 seconds left. There was like a late turnover. I thought it'd be a half-point loser. It turned into a half-point winner. Easy peasy. I wish they were all that easy, pulling out half-point wins like that.
Yep, I was on Sacramento State as well. Nice wire-to-wire cover.
Right. and you know, today I've been, and I said this the other day too. We were talking about basketball. I've been jumping into a lot of these, not big dogs, but sizable 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever or more. These conference dog action. Mm-hmm. And today there was a few of them. I couldn't get to the window on a bunch because of, we're talking about the weather. You got a lot of back-to-back spots today, right? Literally back-to-back games where they'd be playing this on Saturday, but instead they played Thursday night, and now they're playing a noon game today or a 3 o'clock game or a 6 o'clock game. Not that I have like the database as you know, Marc likes to say, we go to the books, you're open to books. I can't apply my same logic to a back-to-back, especially this isn't tournament time. This is a rando back-to-back, like, hey, man, pack something. We might have to do a back-to-back spot, right, because of the weather. You don't know what's happening. I couldn't get behind some of these teams today. Monroe was one of them. They were getting 17. They were down 8-0 early. The next score I saw was 14-12. And then they were down, I think, 10.5 or something. They're down 14 now. Look at it. Look at his score. Second half score, 47-33. If you told me you're laying 17 and the other team has 33 points with 6 minutes to go in the game, could I interest you in taking a 17-point favorite?
Right.
Would you be interested in laying 17 when the other team has 33 points with 6.5 to go?
Yeah, it's funny. We saw this yesterday. We saw actually Monroe was one of them, and the Raging Cajuns were the other one, where their games got bumped from night to day because of the weather, because they were Monroe obviously because they have to play again today. And it's just a big disadvantage for the road teams, because they have to travel. Obviously, they have to worry about getting back, and just their mind is just not in these games. And Monroe and Louisiana got thumped last night, and it is a thing. And I'm looking at the schedule for tomorrow. There have been over 30 games that the times have changed all getting moved up. So it's going to be a big disadvantage for a lot of road teams tomorrow. So keep that in mind when you're looking at some of these games because there's a lot of time changes.
I I had that yesterday, the ULL. I had Louisiana. I'm thinking, all right, again, then all of a sudden you get some time change, moves along, you're like, oh brother, come on. What is going on? And then today I was like, I can't go with them here based on it's a weird back-to-back. 33 points. 33 points? How is that even possible? I know it's a bad spot. You still got a scholarship, Matt. Like you can't score a basket?
Apparently not.
And also, we got a couple other ones underway here. Lipscomb was another one here. Although this one I didn't mind really getting. I was getting a 7.5 with Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
I thought about even using this one because it was a more reasonable number as opposed to a 17. Because that just tells me, are they even showing up for that game?
Right.
On Saturday, normal circumstances, what are they getting? 12, 13 points, probably somewhere along those lines. Be a little.
The lines can be telling. The lines can definitely be telling sometimes. For sure.
I get. Listen, Appalachian State, you're playing home at Boone. I get it. Are you 20 points better than a team? I don't know about that. I mean, couldn't you win by 20? Yeah. Are you favored by that? I gotta kind of look at that one. And Stetson, another one. They were a 14 point. No, they weren't 14. Were they 12.5 point dog today, Stetson?
17. Actually,
15.
Open at 14.5, went up to 17.
It went to. I wrote this down at 11 o'clock before I did my midday money. It was 15.5. And I'm like, you know what? This is kind of a close play here for me based on PA being, power rated where they are.
Yeah.
So it went to 17, and they're up here going into not halftime yet, but a lot of write-ins today, and I couldn't get it. And the other one was Western Illinois as a write-in game here, a change versus Southern Indiana. I had Western Illinois last night covered. I kind of liked them today here. Southern Indiana is off an overtime loss yesterday.
Yeah, I was on Southern Indiana last night, and that one hurt. That one really hurt. They were up most of the game. They were only in 2. It was a close game throughout, but they looked like they were in control, could have won it, and then you lose that game in overtime where they lose by 7.
Terrible.
And that's tough one to recover from. You're right about that.
Terrible. So little wacky scheduling today for college basketball. Again, a couple I like normally would be like your Fairly Ridiculous and Wagner would, normal kind of games. But look at all these writing games today. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 added games to the schedule today.
Yeah, 15. There's like 10 canceled for tomorrow already. There's going to be a lot more, I bet. I have a feeling a lot of these games are going to be canceled. The ones down in the Carolinas and, Kentucky area, I think, and even a little further down south, I think there's going to be some more cancellations, unfortunately. So just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and again, some of these schools moved them, which was good. Heads up for them. Good job moving them.
Absolutely.
Good job moving them ahead of time. But yeah, some of these other ones, well, we'll see what happens. I know it's supposed to be a wintry mix in some of these areas tomorrow. I guess they're thinking, we got a day, we got noon action, we could get everybody out of here and hunker down by Saturday night into Sunday when the bad stuff comes more for the Eastern Seaboard type schools. But it is what it is. Danny Boy's in the house. Not much football left, no. And listen, we haven't even talked football. We're just talking some rando college basketball here on a off the grid kind of day. Danny Boy. Before we get to these, man, I was talking to Seth before we got on the show, before he showed up. I'm like, I'm just watching a little Miami Vice. I said I like the old school seasons 1 to 3 for Miami Vice. For me, I feel their best seasons where they change up the pace a little bit for seasons 4 and 5. And so it's on Amazon Prime, like their like Universal channel or something. So I said, like, all right, let me see what's on. So now we're season 3, season premieres coming on next, right? Episode 1. The guest star in this one, a pre-fame Liam Neeson.
Really? Whoa.
Playing an IRA guy here who wants to shoot down the Concorde. So there's that.
Liam Neeson played a villain? I'm shocked.
You know, and how about this? In the original season premiere of the pilot episode for Miami Vice, it was a 2-parter. And Don Johnson's original partner was Jimmy Smits.
I think I remember that. I think I do remember that.
Water fame.
And who took over? I forget the actor's name. Who took over? I mean,
Michael Thomas took over.
Who was it?
Full Michael Thomas.
Oh, okay.
And so that was the first 2 episodes. Oh, look at this. Who's this guy? Better not bring up Rockets losing no T. I'm not saying I brought that up about you and Alex. I said I like the Sixers, and somebody said, oh, you know, the Rockets are the better team. You should think. I may or may not said that. We're talking Miami Vice right now before we jump into football, because it's going to be a real short show with 2 football games. So episode 3, you know who the guest star was in this one? Again, this is in 1984, I guess this came out, right? Maybe it was 85. I don't even remember. If you can't even hazard a guess. Al Bundy himself. Yes, it was Al Bundy. I get a kick out of watching all the other ones. I don't know. It's you see all these, Bruce Willis is in this, and David Stratham, and there's it's a who's who of people who went on to do movies and stuff.
Yeah, you go back and watch a lot of those old shows like that, and you'll see some randos that you're like, oh my God, never knew that back then, but now they become big stars, you know?
I saw there's like Ben Stiller's in this, like Chris Rock, Guillermo del Torres is in it. He's a kid in there. Isai Morales. It's anyway. All right. That's my Miami Vice talk here. If you want to watch a little Miami Vice. We got football. We got 2 football games, and it's tough to just talk about 2 games when I'm sure we both have them up on the site here. I know I have my AFC game up already on the site here. I was doing my little write-up for the Rams in Seattle, but we could punch around stuff like that and just talk about it in general here. Denver, a 4.5. This was 5.5. It's come down to 4.5, which kind of makes sense. Everybody's going to come and jump on a 1-seed home dog, right? I mean, that's kind of a sharper kind of common play. Everybody's going to be against the public. I mean, I saw it on a video. People were like, oh, thank me later. Just laid a 4.5 here with the Patriots. I get, there could be a Dobbins sighting. I like Henry, Henry, RJ Harvey. I don't think it's bad. I think you have a quarterback that, if you're asking me, my druthers there, I think Peyton would have rather started Stidham instead of Russell Wilson 2 years ago, to be honest with you. They gave that guy like $6, $7, $8 million off of a random 2 end of the year games in 2023. They liked what they saw him and said, you know what? We're going to extend this guy. I don't know if he's the answer. They still gave him money. Is that, again, with NFL quarterbacks, the going rate's the going rate. Whether you're a starter at $35 million or you're a backup at $10 million, they are what they are. They had to like something in them to offer him. They didn't let him walk. They didn't go out and get somebody else. They brought in the veteran, and I get it. Hall of Fame guy. He had some talent there, you think. Can he just be the game manager a la Peyton Manning? This total here, 42.5. Again, man, I'm going to throw it to you real fast. in the second year. Drake May did not look great last week.
Nope.
Fumbling all over the joint. You have the stigma of who have they beaten, right? Even in the playoffs, you got, if you want to say you got lucky against Houston, even with their turnovers, you turn the ball over. Houston was still kind of in that game to the end. The Chargers look like a beat-up squad. I kind of want to go on to the over in this game based on no one's giving a backup quarterback a shot. I'll let you ramble for a while since I have.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the total goes, I agree with you with the over. I think a big factor of that is the fact that New England has played two teams with two awful offensive lines, and it's kind of made their defense look really good. Obviously, we know about the problems with I keep calling them San Diego, with the Chargers, but Houston's offensive line never very good either. They came in as a bottom 5 unit, so it made the defense look really good. I think Sean Payton's going to have some variables in this game. He's going to throw some things out there that the Patriots haven't seen. Yes, they are used to sit him because he played obviously for them for a couple of years, whatever it was. So they know him a little bit, but he's going to throw some wrinkles out there offensively, and we know whether that means trick plays, whether it means just different looks, whatever. Who knows? But I think they're going to try to play with the Patriots defense a little bit. And no, Drake May has not looked good, but something I don't know if I can trust this Denver defense as well.
Well, you bring up the Denver defense here. 33-30 last week, overtime. You needed everything and then some to get that win. And we could talk about bad play flags and nonsense, whatever. You needed everything to get that win. And if New England is a team that didn't beat anybody, well, they beat that Buffalo team. They were up on them 21-0. They could score on Buffalo as did Denver. But if Buffalo can kind of do that in a one-dimensional kind of game with, 3 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers suited up for that game, you'd think New England would be able to get a little offense done. And I think the crazy thing is, like you just said, you got a quarterback who, what do you really have on him? You have no really game tape. You're going to go back 3 years and look at film. So you got a guy who could make some things happen, obviously wrinkles, but also this is to get to the Super Bowl. I'm sure both of these guys, quarterback, coach-wise, are going to be, let's do what you got to do. Hey, Drake, if you got to just take off, don't even hesitate. Just go. There's no tomorrow. There's no, if you get hurt, you get hurt. Like that's not a priority. It's not like you're not saving yourself. If you're not getting the first down or the touchdown, you're not playing in a week or two anyway. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. And if something happens, well, so be it. You got to get there first. I think 41, and it got up from 41.5. I think this is a points game. Even if you say the guy stinks, and the New England defense, I know they're up there in DVOA with Denver or whatever. I mean, you got even if we flip this to the Rams in Seattle, you got 4 of the top 5 defenses here, minus the Texans and Houston. These are probably the better defenses. That's how you go 13-4 and 14-3 for a year. Defense got to be pretty decent. But when it's this low, you're telling me you can't just flip the field position here with a strip sack fumble, an interception, stopping, turn you over on downs. 41s. I think this is a 30 at the half. I'd do a first half over in this one if I had to.
Yeah, I agree. If you look at the recent games, I mean, the Patriots have gone over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of 7, and Denver's gone over in 5 of 7. And one of the unders was against the Chargers, who rested all the starters. So that you can just throw that one out. But, these teams are finding a way to score, and their defenses have not been great. They really haven't. As I said, New England has looked really good the last 2 weeks, both at home, both against really bad offensive lines. So, and then before that, they played Miami and the Jets, who neither team has an offense. So I think Denver can get there even with a backup quarterback. And honestly, how much of a drop off is it from Bo Nix to Stidham? I don't think it's that much. When you look at the line move or the line shift from what was the opener at
2 maybe, right? Denver maybe by a
One and a half
point
or
or
two, and it's gone.
5 points?
It's flipped 5 points. Is Bo Nix worth 5 to 6 points? I don't think he is. I don't think he's not an elite starter. I mean, obviously he knows the system very well, but and Stidham knows the system as well. He's been here the whole time, so
Been here the whole time.
yeah.
Been here the whole time. Well, you got a visitor. Look at this guy coming in and say hello.
Hey guys, knock back. How are we doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just fresh out of
Good. Fresh from where? I thought you were picking oranges, getting them off the tree before a frost comes into town.
no, oranges are out of vogue here right now. There's a little bit of a disease going on down here, but I was stuck in a traffic jam, unfortunately, and I know what the word parking lot means now. So, but nonetheless, glad to be here, guys.
Are you guys supposed to get any of the ice coming through town, or is it just a random Friday and people are out shopping?
No, we're good. I mean, it's like 80 today, and it's supposed to be 80 all weekend. We're good. It'll cool down some because the pressure comes down here. May get down to 60 on Monday or Tuesday, but thankfully we don't have to break out our thermal underwear. That's good. Yeah,
yeah, they're calling for like 20s here on Monday, that's chilly
really
for this neck of the woods.
in Houston.
20? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's it in Rochester, man? How's weather there?
Well, right now it's 16. It's gonna be down to 0 come Saturday, Sunday.
Oh,
Yep.
well.
So no, I don't feel bad for you, Mark. I do not feel bad for your 60s.
No. Yeah, and everybody says, don't cry to me about 60, but when you're used to 80 and 85, 60 is freaking cold. It's hard to say and believe that, but it's true. But nonetheless.
Nope. I hear you. Yep.
It's about 70 right now here. I was telling the guys before, I said we got the air conditioner on, and by Sunday it's supposed to go down to like 19. Like, I mean, come on.
Wow.
It is what it is. What can you do? So enough of the weather. You missed. I was talking about Miami Vice earlier. You missed that good conversation. We were just talking Denver and the Patriots here. Crazy line swing with the quarterback going out, and again, it is important. Biggest position. We both agree. Maybe a little overreaction. Is it a huge step down? We don't know. Right? What do you feel about that? Stidham's been in the system for 3 years. Just because he hasn't played anything meaningful, you think Payne will get? I think Payne will get something out of this guy.
Well, there's a reason he's on that roster, and it's because Sean Payton wanted him on that roster more than any other coach did. He really, really believes in him. He's made 4 career starts. He's got some decent numbers for all the games that he's played in off the bench and spot duty. And it's what I call rally around the quarterback time for the Denver Broncos. And that usually works out well for teams that lose their starting quarterback and the backup comes in first start of the season, and you find out the team plays really well around him. I think there's a lot of value in this football game with Denver, and I think it's just look at the number. I mean, what would it have been with Bo Nix, and what is it now with Stidham? And they're trying to solve the fact that that he's a 7-point difference in a quarterback, Bo Nix. I don't believe that. But
yep, that's exactly what we said. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, way too much.
Sean, this reminds us of what we talked about earlier in the season when San Fran lost Purdy. They brought in Mac Jones, and there were huge line shifts because of that. And Mac Jones, what did he do? He led them to some wins. These backups are there for a reason.
That was a short week Thursday night game.
There was a rally around the quarterback guy, Mac Jones. He does that kind of habitually. He's pretty good at that stuff.
Oh, yeah, let's be honest. I mean, Mac Jones was a top 3 draft pick. The guy had won multiple games in New England as a starting quarterback. We're going to a guy who was actually drafted by the Patriots, right? He's a 4th-round draft pick for the Patriots, backed up Tom Brady back in 2019. But he wasn't a 1st-round pick. But like Marc said, and I said this too, they paid this guy $5, $6, $7 million or whatever a couple years ago before they signed Russell Wilson. So Payton had to see something in him to want to pay him and keep him around.
No, and just the fact that he's still around, that's what's, I think, really critically important. The fact that they didn't pay him, they found out he wasn't what they expected, and they let him go. He's still around, and I think he's around at the right time. This is what Sean Payton brought him in here for. We'll see how all shakes out on Sunday, but I think there's a lot of value with Denver in this game.
Yeah, and New England wanted to bring him back as a backup, and he didn't go. He didn't want to go to State Denver.
I'm sorry, I missed that, Matt.
New England wanted him back, but he stayed in Denver.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because he did make that stop with the Patriots. He had a cup of coffee over there. But, like you say, he opted to stay there. So, there's some good vibes between the coach and the player, which is really what you want when you're going to a backup quarterback.
And they remember, because these guys, I remember they brought in Zach Wilson. I'm thinking to myself, look at this. They drafted Bo Nix. They got Stidham. I'm like, Zach Wilson's going to get starts here in Seattle, or excuse me, in Denver. Because Denver opened up against Seattle. I was like, this is great. He's going to face Seattle Seahawks the first week. I thought, Zach Wilson. I was excited because I think they're playing. Gino was still with Seattle at that time, so I was like, look at this. These ex quarterbacks just getting starting odds all over the place. But he loved Bo Nix, and he rewarded him. He rewarded him with a nice season this year for sure. For sure.
All kinds of goodies inside this game here, guys. As far as seeding goes, it was 1975 when they first started seeding teams in the National Football League. And you're finding here a number one seed that's a home dog, which is real, real rare, as you might expect.
Yeah.
But you're also finding a home dog of large proportions, of which is really, really juicy to the Denver side here as well. My biggest concern against New England is that they haven't been this far before either, okay? They won 4 games last year. And you put that into the database and you look at how teams that make it to the championship round that won 4 or fewer games last year, forget about it. They're almost invisible. They won one time in 6 games. So, I think if you start checking the boxes and look at your boxes and what you've checked off, I think you're going to find a lot of check marks to Denver, and I'm still looking for one for New England.
Backup quarterback, again, seeing a dog like this at home, where would it – just go back. Who's the last time we've had a backup quarterback going into – we have to go back to – I'm remembering Jeff Hostetler, but Hostetler started games before the playoffs.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, we called this out in the newsletter this week. And, in fact, when you have a backup quarterback starting in the playoffs, it's only happened 5 times. You had Gary Danielson for the Lions. Remember him back in '83?
I know what's his name started for the Cowboys. They got crushed in Detroit.
You had Frank Reich from the Bills in '93. Joe Webb from the Vikings in 2013. These are quarterbacks that didn't make a start all season long.
Okay.
Joe Webb from the Vikings 2013. Connor Cook from the Raiders in 2017. And probably the most infamous of them all is Nick Foles, who led the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Right, exactly.
Who was the one before Foles? Connor Cook?
Connor
Cook for the Raiders.
From the Raiders.
I don't remember that name at all. I don't remember that name.
I think that was against Houston or Tennessee they played?
2017 is when it was. Probably the 2016 playoffs, but played in 2017, right?
I'll tell you what, I had the Raiders that game. I know 100% I took the Raiders with that backup quarterback.
Nice.
I want to say it was against either the Titans or the Texans. I got to look. Connor Cook. Now I'm because I remember. Yeah. Let's see.
While you're looking, Sean, here's another unique thing out of those 5 guys is that
Houston Texans. Here we go. Matt McGloin was limited in practice. That's who they're going to playoffs. So Matt McGloin.
That's me.
Well, of those 5 I listed here, 3 of them started they went 3-2, by the way. And the 3 that won were the 3 that started at home. They're all home teams. The quarterbacks that started for the home team, they all won their game. The other 2 were on the road, and they both lost their games. So if the confines of home mean anything in the playoffs, it really benefited these first-time quarterbacks that are making their first start of the season in the postseason.
I mean, look at this. He went from the Raiders, saw no action as a third-string quarterback, and new second-string quarterback E.J. Emmanuel, released after the Raiders traded for A.J. McCarron, signed to the practice squad Carolina Panthers, released by the Panthers, signed by Cincinnati. Released by Cincinnati, went to the Lions. Cook was released after they signed David Fales. David Fales. Not Foles, it was Fales. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we got the I am Jimmy Key. Listen, yeah, we brought up Foles, Cook. You know, you said it had to be guys who didn't start. That's why I was thinking with the Cowboys against the Lions, Aikman had the concussions, and what's his name? Boy, who's the backup? Oh, Bert was it maybe? It wasn't Bernie Kosar. Who the hell did they have? Somebody came in. No, for the Cowboys in '91 when they lost the wild card game to Detroit, but he had played a couple games during the regular season when it was that. That's why when you're like, oh no, how to be first starts. Tim Earl likes Broncos on the money line. Why wouldn't you sprinkle it? Why wouldn't you 2-1? I mean, I know the old scripted, rigged NFL is a entertainment league, not a sports league. Crowd is going to be in full force for this game. What is the storyline, right? Like how do you spin this one? Is it we're making a new Invincible with Vince Papale starring Jared Stidham as the quarterback coming in, winning a game and going to the Super Bowl? Or is it how about this storyline? You have New England and say the Rams facing off, where it's a rematch of whatever that was, 2002, 2003 Super Bowl with Brady, young Brady with May playing the role, and Stats Patford coming in here as the old wily Kurt Warner kind of guy for the Rams, right? So you got like what is they got two good story points here.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it plays out, you know, again, then Seattle could win, and it's going to be like the Sam Darnold story, which would be basically the Vince Papale 2, Electric Boogaloo, because here's a guy who was cut by, you know, on his fifth team and just happens to go 18-6 or whatever hell he's gone in 2 years. He gets zero respect. What is the storyline arc we're going to have here on Monday morning from this game? Is it going to be?
Well, the storyline I think could be this: if Stidham is everything Sean Payton feels he is, and he wins this game, I think it goes one leg further, and it goes to the Super Bowl. And then, are you going to back the Denver Broncos, or are you going to play Jarrett Stidham to win the MVP award in the Super Bowl?
Just going to say that.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that. Look up the odds right now.
You're going to get better odds with Stidham than you are with the Broncos. Right.
Yeah, someone posted that the odds earlier on Twitter about Super Bowl. Like, who do you take? Why not just take the Stidham right now? You know,
I think he's I think he's 20-1. I believe it's either 12-1 or 20-1. Stidham right now. If you do it right now,
even 20-1 doesn't seem like enough.
Well, remember you've only got 4 teams here.
I know. It's just when
a quarterback always wins it. So
yep. And if Denver wins it, the logical choice then would be the quarterback. Given the fact that there's no other offensive player that's a megastar on the team. So,
7 of the last 10 quarterbacks have won the MVP.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Danny Boy says, how do we cap a game on quarterback, no stats? Well, you heard us talking about it, Danny. And it was, we look at the coach. We look at a guy who was paid to be there. They wanted him there. You got to look at it that kind of way. I want to look at the
it's 20-1. It's 20-1.
20-1. Okay, there you go.
I think it's worth.
I think it's almost better than that because New England has no film on him. I think that helps.
Well, it does. That's a real good point. Yeah. No film on him. Still, you're going to make a Nick Foles case out of him. Okay, the same thing.
Yep.
The same thing. Winning the championship game, going on and winning the Super Bowl, and the Denver Broncos. They make it to the Super Bowl. What are they going to be against either of the NFC West Warriors? What kind of?
I think they're 9 versus. They're 9 dogs versus Seattle. I think 7 versus the Rams.
And what sort of a money line price or odds would you get?
I don't know. I didn't have that one up. I saw somebody posted it from, I think FanDuel has it.
Well, like I said, 20-1 for Stidham, and I think the price was something like 10 or 12-1 for Denver. Now, that seems a little steep as well, but nonetheless, much, much better value to Stidham in that proposition.
I like the first half over. I like the full game over here. Because like you said, I got a guy with no film. It's the last game of the year. Everybody's gonna be balls to the wall, trick plays, all kind of nonsense, right? Who cares what goes on here? I think you could have I'm definitely looking for some kind of flea flicker pass for sure. I'm predicting a fake punt. I think this is going to be a high scoring game.
Throw a safety in there too, Sean.
Could be. Listen, defensive touchdown. I won't be shocked.
Yeah.
Strip sack, fumble, pick six. Anything goes. I don't think this is going to be like a 16-30. I think this game's going to be just like the Bills game. Here we go. Super Bowl odds. Seattle 155, Rams $2, New England 250, Broncos 11-1.
There you go, 11-1. Yep.
So Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. He won the MVP. He was 3-1 to win the MVP. So Stidham's 20-1 now. If Denver goes to the Super Bowl, what is Stidham going to be to win the MVP?
Well, if the Broncos are 9-1, it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't come somewhere anywhere near the same price, the odds, which will be half of what they are right now.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's a long shot to bet Stidham now, but why not? Those are pretty darn good odds.
Yeah, if you're convicted, you have a strong conviction on Denver. I think you're foolish not to entertain that thought anyway.
Do it now. Definitely do it now, and don't wait until the Super Bowl if they do make it there. Yeah. By the way, Sean, the backup for Aikman was Sean Berline. Steve Berline. Steve
Berline, yeah. Wow.
Steve Berline. I wasn't sure it was him. I knew. Listen, I know my old Cowboy quarterbacks. We had Gary Hogaboom back in the '80s, backing up Danny White and stuff, and Steve Berline. Yeah, I think he went 6-1 down the stretch for him, and Aikman was ready to go, and then they left Berline in there, and that's it. It was out the door. They needed that though, because then the next year they just came back and dominated for back-to-back Super Bowls. Let's move on to game number 2 here. Rams and Seattle. Here we go. 2.5, 46.5. And I'm dying to get Marc's take on this because we had 2 games this year. They split. The losers in both games totally outstatted because of turnovers and craziness like that, punt returns and missed field goals and fumbles, interceptions, whatever it cost either team their games in both matchups. When I look at this, though, I know Sharby's out. Charbonnet, the other running back there for Seattle. The fact that Seattle isn't even a 3-point favorite at home, is that wrong? Totally disrespectful. Seattle not being a full home field advantage. This is the Rams' 6th road game in 7 weeks, 3 in a row, and the defense has been a little choppy. I mean, it's been a little choppy the last month and a half, huh? You can't
you bring out good points. You do, Sean. And the travel factor should be a factor here, but I did that in the well-oiled machine, and it's not good for 3 in a row on the road, but it's been better since 1990 when they expanded to 12 teams in the playoffs to 14, and it's done a whole lot better. Not winning by any way, shape, or form. But I think what works in this game here, if you want to make a case for the Rams, is they met in what was it a month ago, 5 weeks ago, in that overtime loss that the Rams took at Seattle. And look inside the stats in that football game. It was all Seattle in the stat. I mean, the Rams in the stats. They beat them over 100 yards, well over 100 yards. So now. And if the Rams win that football game, they're the number 1 seed, and this game is in Los Angeles, and the Rams get dumped down to the number 5 seed. of which I'll share with you guys if we get to the end of this thing here about how the chances of a number 5 seed winning the Super Bowl. But now they're the number 5 seed, and Seattle is the king of the hill right now coming up here. And the way I'm looking at it, I'm looking at coaches and quarterbacks, and I know I've got a quarterback edge in Matthew Stafford here, and I'm pretty sure I have a quarterback edge in coaching edge in Sean McVay. I mean, I'm not denouncing anything at all about McDonald. He's done a terrific job with the program, but McVay's been there, done that, and I think he's a terrific coach himself. So if you like coaches and quarterbacks and underdogs, the Rams have to be your order off the menu this particular week. And if you like the teams that carry the hot hand, like Seattle is doing right now, I mean, they're on fire. There's no question about that. And they even disproved the McDonald dichotomy, where he's been terrific on the road in his career, 15-2 outright, but he's been just a 50-50 coach at home outright. But they've really come on that way at home here at the second half of the season. So that's that form is beginning to turn a little bit here. So I think it's a tough call for whoever you like here. I was a little bit concerned, like I say, about 3 in a row on the road, but you know something? I think the players in the team, they just flat out don't give a shit about, if it's 3 in a row on the road. All they know is they're facing Seattle, the team that denied them the number 1 seed. That's my approach, my look at the game.
And the trip to the Super Bowl too, probably maybe a little motivation too. Matt,
a little bit of that. Yeah, you can throw that in there.
Matt, Marc brought up the road splits there for Seattle here at McDonald at home. Look at some of these games here at home. They had that 38-37 Rams game or whatever, 37-36. They had the same kind of game versus Tampa Bay. The good Tampa, when Tampa was early in the years, like Baker MVP, good Tampa Bay squad. So against offensive squads, these guys could put up some crooked numbers on both sides of the ball. I agree with Marc. Coach-wise, quarterback-wise, you got to it weighs. I mean, it's not even close. I think you're kind of tipping the scales to the Rams side of the ball. But on the flip side, you can't give me 3. Just the way this defense has played the last couple of weeks. I know it's beating the same Niner team twice.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to feed off that. You got to come in here thinking we're going to be kind of pumped up here, and I don't know. You want to give me 3? I'm taking the Rams. At 2.5, it's kind of like, all right, I can win this game by 3 and cover with Seattle. It's a tricky number. How about sidewise? Anything? I think we'll see points. I mean, we saw crazy, especially with, one last thing. What's his name? Shahid, the punt returner. I mean, that guy. You saw it last week, and you saw it in that Rams game when they came back. They're down 30-14. Punt return touchdown, 2-point conversion, 3 and out, another fast touchdown, and then all of a sudden,
yes, right,
it's 30-30. And again, I don't know. I like the over. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry to not let you.
No, really, you're fine. Like, I can see your point for the over. I mean, the Rams have gone over in 7 of 8, and it's mostly because of the defense. The defense does not look good. I mean, it looked okay last week against Chicago, but that was in some pretty bad weather. But I don't know if I can trust Darnold. He's hurt. His oblique, he threw 16 passes last week, I think. So he wasn't really tested. Didn't have to be. I think his defense is still legit. They played in bad weather on the road the last 2 games. I mean, you could make an argument for either side, as Marc said. Like with Seattle, they've been with McDonald. They've been great on the road. But in hindsight, you look at the Seattle history. They've won 11 straight home playoff games. So you have that to contradict the home sketchiness that they've had so far this year. And with the Rams, you can look at recency bias again with they played 2 bad games on the road. And people be like, oh, I can't trust this team on the road again, right? And you see only 2.5. I think that's going to put the public on Seattle. Personally, I see the 2.5, and that is almost an auto take to take the Rams just because it is 2.5. We talked about that all year, about those half point numbers around key numbers, that the public could be on one side, but the right side could be on the side that is not that public side. So you can make an argument for either side in this game. It should be another great game, I would think.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn. I kind of like Seattle just because the defense has been a little better down the stretch in the Rams. The Rams defense is definitely worrisome.
Yeah.
But as you said, man, and Mark, right? I mean, the oblique, again, 16 passes last week. You didn't even have to throw the ball because he was out the door and it was a dominant performance and you can protect your quarterback. You didn't have to do much there. Now, I don't know. I think you might have to throw a little bit. Now you got one running back now. I know you're going to have their third stringer who they kind of like, but again, it's a little different than the quarterback coming in. It's not a guy who's had a great season. If your quarterback's that hurt, you would definitely want to take some stress off of him. Again, these are the two interesting games. You know, it's you want everybody healthy, but it is football. Guys get hurt, and now you have two home quarterbacks. One is out, and the other guy is definitely banged up. They said they gave him a shot pre-game there against the Niners, and probably get another one here versus the Rams. I don't know. Mark, what do you think? Total-wise on this?
Well, I'm not going to go to the total. I'll leave that up to you guys and Matt. I think I listen to whatever you guys say about the totals. I'll just throw a little bit more salt and pepper onto the game here itself, if I may. There's another unique angle that really favors the Rams here. These are all in my quest to offset this 3 in a row on the road. And basically what it amounts to is you take a dog in the playoffs that won their previous 2 games and was favored and didn't cover, win no cover, now dog. Katie bar the door. These guys are absolutely unbelievable. That's a big, huge role change for these teams who are all of a sudden being dissed because they look poor, they didn't cover the spread, but nonetheless, here they are in this championship game. Talented enough to be here, and now they're going to take advantage of what would be value in that sense, that they were favored each time. They didn't get the money, but now they're going to dress up as a dog. That comes to the Rams in this particular football game here as well. So, I don't want to belabor the point and pound it home here that way, but I think the Rams have a real good chance, even despite the fact of the travel factors here.
I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be another kind of one possession. Somebody wins by a field goal, 1 point. Like, I won't be shocked if it's 24-23. I won't be shocked if it's 31-30. Somebody winning. Right? I mean, they got 2 interesting games. There's a lot of like I said, a lot of interesting talking points and where we think the Super Bowl could go, and with that kind of hype will be the leading up to its storylines and stuff. I mean, from the standpoint of Stats Patford, win the Super Bowl, retire, right? I mean, let's go back to August when they said this guy had a back problem, and I'm taking no Rams playoffs.
We talked about that quite a bit.
And yet here he is. He's having a cap off MVP season by possibly winning or going to a Super Bowl.
So only 5 teams have won 3 road playoff games to get to the Super Bowl. 2020 Bucks, 2010 Packers, 27 Giants, 25 Steelers, and 85 Patriots. So it has happened. And
so the Patriots team, a little before my time to watch them play. As a wild card team, that was probably they were obviously the first wild card team to get to Super Bowl, probably, right?
That's when they got destroyed by the Bears, right? 85.
Bears, historically great team. And then we had the Rams, or excuse me, the Giants upsetting
2005 Steelers. I don't remember that one at all. 2007 Giants, I remember that.
2005 Steelers, was that them stealing the Super Bowl from Seattle?
Could be.
No, 2005 was that Arizona. No, that was Arizona against. That was Santonio Holmes catching a bomb against Arizona, I think, 2005, because that was a Kurt Warner team, I think.
Let me throw one stat at you guys here. I mentioned about the seeds as they come into this football game, and I mentioned that 1975 is when they began seeding teams. Since then, there have been 104 teams that have made it to the Super Bowl that were seeded. And of the 100 of the 104, they were either 1, 2, 3, or 4 seeds. The 4 that weren't a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seeds that went to the Super Bowl all won the Super Bowl. Kind of strange that you would think that, how would that be? The 1, 2, 3, 4, we can understand they're supposed to be the superior team. But the teams that were seeded worse than number 4, 4 of them went and all of them won the Super Bowl. if that turns to 5 out of 5 this year, it would be the Rams doing just that.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yep.
2005 Steelers won at Cincinnati, upset the number 1 seed Colts, won at Denver. First team ever, first 6 team ever to win. He stole that from Seattle. I don't care. 21-10. That Seattle was up 7-0 in the first quarter. I knew I was in trouble when they took that TD off the board. I remember that. That's yeah. No. Come on. And then that Rams team, the Rams team. That Giants team, fluke ass win over the Patriots.
Well, you're denying Eli Manning his pass into the Hall of Fame? Is what you're doing?
He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. I know.
As a Giants fan, I agree with you.
He's not. Listen, and we'll pivot to the Hall of Fame because I know baseball just had their Hall of Fame voting, and Carlos Beltran gets in, and someone's like, "Oh, what hat is he going to wear?" The guy should go in with a garbage can lid on his head. He was a known cheater. Well, if you're not going to put freaking A-Rod or Bonds or Clemens in here, but yet you put in Ortiz and now Beltran, who's I think is a lot worse than what the steroid guys allegedly did. I mean, even guys who weren't even did anything. You got Bagwell in there, Piazza. Like, how do you pick and choose who gets in there? That's ridiculous. And now they want to switch these damn rules again. I'm sorry, Mark. I know you're not a big baseball. Maybe you are a baseball fan.
I am a big baseball fan. Yes, I am. Yes.
So again, we're never going to get our 80s and 70s, 80s, 90s kind of stats from these pitchers. But now they're talking about peak performance kind of guys that should be Hall of Famers. These veterans would have put Don Mattingly, who was the best player in baseball for that decade, for the 80s. Like, the guy was ridiculous. We're going peak performance now to get a guy like Felix Hernandez in, who won 126 games. Get the hell out! Come on. I don't care that you won 2 Super Bowls. You're not. That's not an MVP.
Well, let me ask you this, Sean. Let me ask you this. I'm from Cleveland. I was a big Indians fan and had season tickets for as long as I sold scorecards at the stadium after school there. I used to do that because I could stay after I sold my scorecards and watch the games for free. So it's the way I got to watch the Cleveland Indians. But nonetheless, Manny Ramirez is like I think he's on the cusp where he's either ineligible now because he didn't make it, but he's being held back because of the steroid issue again here. And you mentioned a couple of players that should be in there, Clemens and Bonds. And so do you think Manny Ramirez belongs in that list?
See, he's a multi-offender, though. That's the thing with him, though. He failed with the Dodgers. Remember, he had like the women's stuff he was taken to.
Yep.
Like, you can't say, well, like Clemens. Well, he didn't fail a drug test. Bonds never failed the drug test. Gary Sheffield never failed the drug test. How are they not in?
Well, that's like a murder case. You don't have the weapon. How can you find the person guilty if you don't have the weapon? You know what I mean?
Like Jose Canseco should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. He's a steroid guy. Let me tell you something. Without Bud Selig, for the love of God, is in the Hall of Fame. He signed off on that crap in the 90s. He had no problem with it. They turned a blind eye,
right,
to turn baseball into what it is.
Exactly. Baseball. I would say baseball allowed it, but they definitely let it go. I'm looking at Manny's numbers right now. It's like
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
But
The whole baseball
suspension, though, that's what hurts. The second one.
The whole baseball voting thing should be changed. I think. I mean, I appreciate some of these guys again. Like Andrew Jones, probably one of the best defensive center fielders ever. I get it, but if he wasn't elected his first time, or his second time, or his third time, what makes him get voted in as 8th time? What changed the narrative that he should now
be the people that were eligible when that
because
time
you can only vote for 10. So if you're on a big ballot with a bunch of guys, you might get pushed down him. But he's a guy who should have been in. I mean, he was the best defensive center fielder, and he hit the guy. I mean, do we forget against the Yankees in the World Series? The guy opened up the World Series with 2 home runs and 10 ribbies or whatever he did. I mean, He put up decent numbers. He was solid.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be in, but I'm wondering why he wasn't voted in sooner. Is it like each voter can put in? I think it's 10. 10 they get 10 votes, right? 10 votes to elect people. Were there 10 people ahead of him each of the last 7 years where he couldn't get in, and all of a sudden it was a late year, so now he's in? Or
no, he didn't get the lot. He just didn't get. They want to harp on this freaking war nonsense. Wins above. Are you kidding me with this crap? Like, how about open your eyes and watch a guy play?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I never watched Billy Wagner and be like, this guy's a Hall of Famer, and he's in a Hall of Fame. Joe Mauer, I never thought was a Hall of Famer. Like, oh, it's Joe Mauer. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's a good catcher. He hit 300.
Hey, let me give you guys my best Manny Ramirez story. You know, the stories about Manny being Manny because he wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he could hit the shit out of a baseball. So when he's in Cleveland, they just built Jacobs Field and a really, really beautiful facility. And the players could park their cars in the players' lot. And one of the players that tended the lot, I knew, and players would have them wash their car while they're playing the baseball games. And Manny Ramirez would have the player wash his car. And usually the players would pay him up front. And Manny just, no, there's money in the glove box. Just take it out of there. The kid opened the glove box. He said, there had to be $20,000 in the glove box. He told, just get it out of the glove box.
Take a couple bucks. Good for Manny Ramirez.
Yeah, really.
Think about those teams. That dude was hitting seventh behind like Tomei, Eddie Murray, Roberto Alvarado. Those had some stacked teams in the 90s.
Yes, they were.
And there's another. They want to go with guys who like peak performance. Dude, Joey Bell. Albert Bell.
Dude,
that guy. If you didn't think that guy was awesome when he played. Here's a story about Joey Bell. We were at Yankee Stadium with my friend Matt, and I think we were with the Rhubarb. This guy Kevin, we called him the Rhubarb. That was his little nickname he had. Don't ask me why. I'll just call him the Rhubarb. And we're on the third base side of the Yankees dugout there. And this is like what, 93, 94. Like they're good, but their tickets are $17.99 for these tickets. I could go buy a Ticketmaster at the record shop, right? So Joey Bell's walking up the third base line, and I'm like, Joey Bell, you drunk? I said, if I was, I said, sign the kid's autograph. I said, we had a keg of beer over here. You come tap it. You degenerate. I'm yelling at him. He stops the third base. Now I'm in the staircase. So I'm like literally like staring at him, and he's whatever. He's just staring at me with a look, and he's got a baseball in his hand. And I'm just staring at. Finally, I just put my head down, and my buddy's like, I think he's gonna whip this fucking ball at you, bro. I'm like,
you better back off, huh?
He's like, don't say anything. Don't no. And at this point, like nobody's yelling for him to come over to sign autographs. Then somebody like hits him on the back. I don't even know who it was. My wife says whoever's walking, he's like rubbed his back at this thing. They kept walking or something. I thought I was gonna get hit with a ball. Like I would have had a good lawsuit on my hand probably.
Yeah,
but on the same
token, you don't want to walk around looking like Frankenstein either,
Yeah. Well, listen, it's not Frankenstein. He was the doctor. Frankenstein's the monster. I'm the monster.
But you still would have had that look. Albert Bell, guys, Indians spring training was in Winter Haven, Florida. And all the team would all eat basically at the same restaurant. And one of the girls at the restaurant, who was a waitress, said that the players are all very nice, all very generous, except one person, Joey Bell. He never left a tip. Never, ever left a tip.
Really?
Yes. Right.
Maybe you didn't know. I don't know. Here's a good Indian story. Ernie Camacho.
Oh yeah.
I'm at the game with my father. 86, 87. I don't even remember when it was. I was a kid, young. And I'm just calling. Somebody come sign something. He comes over. I have nothing. I don't have a pen. I don't have a scorecard. I don't have a game book. I don't have a damn thing on me. I'm like, I don't have anything. He's like, unwraps his arm with like some bandage sock he had on, took a pen from somebody else and signed it. I still have it like upstairs in my
He signed the bandage? Yeah.
Well, I think it was just like a sock or some kind of band he just had wrapped around his like hand or whatever.
Right. A wrap. Kind of a wrap, right.
I think it was like a sock, believe it or not, or something. It was,
really?
And he gave it to me. Like, a guy. He's a Cleveland Indian guy. He's playing in the Bronx. Well, he doesn't have to come over. And I had nothing. I didn't have a book. I didn't have a pen. And he got a Sharpie and signed something. He gave me right off of his uniform. I'll never forget Ernie Camacho. Never say a bad word about the guy.
Well, how can you? Right? You can't.
I'm not. If he dies, I'm sending flowers to his funeral. There'll be
You're going to vote for the Hall of Fame. That's what you're going to do.
There will be an arrangement from me. No, I'm not. I mean, that was freaking 40 years ago.
Wow.
40 years ago. I remember like it was yesterday. Still coming over where I was. So again, I was in third base. I don't know how we got into baseball stuff, but we did, folks. Sorry. All right. Let's recap here and get out of here. Sidewise, Mark, I don't know what you have up on the site, so I don't want to give away too much here. So why don't you tell people what you got on the sites and if you want to give a little leeway to any free play here in the video.
Well, I'll say this, that both sides I talked about were the dogs. So one of those 2 dogs that I have up on the site are up there. But I also played both of these dogs to make it to the Super Bowl. And if you like the dogs and you like both of the dogs as a 2-team money line parlay, you can get 6-1 on both the dogs. So if both the Rams, if they win their football game, and the Broncos win their football game, the pair making it to the Super Bowl pays you 6-1. If you have a good feeling to the dog, that might be a look. I'll leave that in passing.
There you go. Matt, what do you got at Gamblers World?
I have both sides for these 2 games. So go check those out. Another big college hoops Saturday coming up. Have to keep an eye on the forecast though. A lot of these games are going to change. Some are going to get canceled. A lot of time changes. So it's going to be a long afternoon trying to keep all that in order. And have 3 college games tonight along with NBA as well.
There you go. College hoops, NFL from Matt Fargo, NFL from Marc Lawrence. I have NFL. I did not put a college basketball game up for today, but probably tomorrow for sure. But again, we got a lot of cancellations because they reschedule them today. Be on the lookout for some late stuff tomorrow, or especially time changes. They might move these 3 o'clockers up to noon or something. So I don't know. A game like that, we talked about it. I don't know how invested. Normally I'm pulling my stuff up Friday night, 5, 10, 15, whatever the amount of games are that kind of fit into what I'm looking on Saturday. I might be a pass and probably doing tomorrow morning based on weather, because I'm not going to put something out just because it fits. Like today, games fit the system, but I'm not playing in a back-to-back when it's not a normally kind of scheduled game for the guys. I kind of adjust that for my thought process.
Yeah,
especially when
there's a lot of overnight changes tonight.
Yeah,
what's going to happen tonight? I think so. Just be worried.
Like, hey, we got to get out of here before something. You're just going to be playing different.
Yep.
There might be no fouls. There might be, you know what I'm saying? There might be extra. Well, I don't think there'll be extra fouls. Everybody's going to get home. Let's run it. If this was your kid's sport, they'd be like, no, clock's not stopping. Let's go. Everybody, keep clock running. Let's go. We got places to go here. It's Christmas. The clock goes. All right, there you go. NFL Championship Sunday. Your picks are all posted at Gamblers World from Matt, Marc, and myself. So head on over there. I don't know. Listen, we have a Super Bowl show. We could do a live. We'll see if Marc and Matt are interested in that. That'll probably a prop heavy kind of show, because those things start coming up. That'll be a little prop heavy kind of show there for you. But if you guys are interested, we can always do that. Otherwise, it'll be a couple months. That's it for the football season.
When we do that, and if we do the props, remind me, Sean. I'll share with you my famous Jay Cornegay story, because he's the king of the props. He's the one that really exploded that whole thing. And I was at a time I was doing some work for USA Today and writing some NFL for them, and I reached out to Jay about some NFL props, Super Bowl props, and I'll share that with you when we get to the Super Bowl.
Awesome.
He's a nice man.
Yes.
I know. I've been in back when it was like the Hilton. I was in the contest that was like the first contest to get in. I think in 2007 when I first got to get into contests, and I went out to. This is like a 2014, maybe before that, and they had license plates from the Westgate that said "Good teams win, great teams cover. So I had it, and it broke. And I'm like, hey man, can I get a new one of these? He's like, I gotta check. So I go out to Vegas to sign up again. He's not there today. I'm there. So I text him. I'm like, you know, we're around. I got my broken thing. I even brought to Vegas. I said, look at this. I brought my broken license plate holder for you. He got back to me. He follows me on the X or whatever. He sent me a care package to my house.
Really?
License plates, phone chargers, not just the plug-in, but like the base for you could just plug it, just sit somewhere and charges your phone automatically.
All Superbook goodies, huh?
All Superbook goodies, shirts, hats, sunglasses, mini footballs, a box. And it was a decent sized box came in the mail. I was like, what is that? I'm like, visors. I was like, what a guy. You have to do that, Jay. He's like, you said you had kids. I'm like, well, thanks. Go to school with Superbook sunglasses on at 5 years old.
Wow.
All right, so we definitely got a Super Bowl prop show coming up for everybody.
Yeah,
so it doesn't end today with Ernie Camacho, Joey Bell, and Baseball Hall of Fame talk. We will be back to run it for some NFL. Excellent. All right, guys. Good luck this weekend. And
Good luck, everyone.
see you before the Super Bowl.
We're out of here, guys. Enjoy the games. Thank you.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.